When my new coworker's daughter called me daddy, my wife's face went completely white. We were at the company barbecue, burgers on the grill, kids running around, normal Saturday stuff. Then a little girl ran up to me and wrapped her arms around my leg. "Daddy, I missed you." I looked down. I had never seen this child before in my life. My wife froze. Her burger slipped from her plate and hit the grass with a soft thud. "What did she just call you?" I opened my mouth to respond. Had no idea what to say. Before I could find words, my coworker Marcus jogged over. He scooped up the little girl in one fluid motion. "Lily, there you are." He laughed nervously, too nervously. "Sorry about that. She gets confused sometimes. Kids, right?" My wife wasn't laughing. "Why did your daughter call my husband daddy?" Marcus shifted Lily to his other hip. His smile was strained. Kids say weird things. You know how it is. But Lily was staring at me, her eyes wide, familiar somehow. "I want to go home with daddy," she said, reaching toward me. My wife's voice dropped to ice. "Marcus, why does your daughter think my husband is her father?" Marcus's face changed. The friendly mask, the one he'd worn for 2 years of office parties and team meetings and casual conversations by the coffee machine, slipped away. "This is ridiculous. She's 4. She doesn't know what she's saying." He started walking away. "Wait." My wife stepped in front of him. "I want an answer." That's when Marcus's wife appeared. I'd met her once, maybe twice. Sarah, quiet, nervous, always looking at Marcus like she was waiting for permission to speak. She looked panicked now. "What's going on?" "Your daughter called him daddy." My wife pointed at me. "I want to know why." Sarah looked at me, then at Marcus, then back at me. Her face crumbled. "I told you this would happen," she whispered to Marcus. My stomach dropped. Someone needs to explain what's going on right now. Silence. Then Sarah started crying. "She's yours." The words hit me like a truck. "What?" "Lily." Sarah's voice was barely audible. "She's your biological daughter." I couldn't process it. I had never touched this woman, never even spoken to her before today. We'd passed each other at maybe 2 company events in 2 years, exchanged polite nods, nothing more. "That's impossible." My wife grabbed my arm. Her grip was painful. "What is she talking about?" "I don't know. I've never met her before." "Then how?" Marcus stepped forward. His hands were shaking. 5 years ago, the fertility clinic on Harbor Street. My blood ran cold. "You donated, right?" Everything stopped. I had donated to a sperm bank in college. Just once. $200 for a desperate 21-year-old who needed textbook money. I never thought about it again. It was supposed to be anonymous, confidential, a transaction between a broke college kid and couples who needed help starting families. I'd signed forms, pages of forms, promising anonymity in both directions. I'd moved on, forgot it ever happened. "They weren't supposed to tell us who the donor was," Marcus continued. "But we found out." "How?" "Sarah's sister works at the clinic. She looked up the records, found your name." He said it so casually, like accessing confidential medical records was just a minor inconvenience. "And when I got the job at your company," he trailed off. My wife's face went from confusion to horror. "You applied for a job here because of him?" Marcus couldn't meet her eyes. My wife pulled away from me. "You have a daughter? You knew about this?" "No, I had no idea. I donated anonymously years ago. I never knew anyone, actually. You didn't think to mention that you donated sperm. It was 10 years ago, before we even met. I never thought." "You never thought what? That a child might exist?" "I signed papers saying I'd never know. I assumed." "Daddy?" Lily was still staring at me. Her eyes were my mother's eyes, the exact shade of green, the same slight upturn at the corners. Her chin was my chin. Her hair was my hair. She looked exactly like the photos of me as a child. "Daddy, why is everyone yelling?" I felt sick. Marcus's wife, Sarah, wiped her eyes. "When we found out who the donor was, Marcus became obsessed. He researched you for months. Found out where you worked, what you did, who your friends were. My coworker, my friend. He'd been watching me for 2 years. He applied for a job at your company just to get close to you. I just wanted Lily to know her real father," Marcus said quietly. "By stalking him?" my wife shouted. The entire barbecue was watching now. 50 people, frozen mid-conversation, staring at the disaster unfolding by the grill. "We should have told you," Marcus admitted. "When? Before or after you moved into the cubicle next to mine? I didn't know how, and then the longer I waited, you brought your daughter to meet me without telling me she was mine." Marcus looked at the ground. I looked at Lily, at her eyes, my mother's eyes, at her chin, my chin, at the little girl who'd been raised 2 miles from my house for 4 years, while I had no idea she existed. She was mine, and I'd missed everything. Her first steps, her first words, her first birthday, second birthday, third birthday, fourth. I'd missed 4 years of her life. My wife was crying now. "I can't do this. I need to leave. Rachel, wait, don't follow me." She walked toward the car, got in, slammed the door, drove away. I stood in the middle of the barbecue, surrounded by coworkers who were pretending not to stare, staring at a daughter I never knew existed. Marcus tried to apologize. I couldn't hear him. All I could hear was Lily's voice. "Daddy, why are you crying?" I knelt down to her level. This stranger, this child, my child. "I'm not crying," I lied. She reached out out and touched my face. Yes, you are. It's okay. Mommy says crying means you care. I looked at this little girl, 4 years old, my DNA, my blood, a daughter I'd never held, never rocked to sleep, never watched take her first steps. What do I do now? I whispered. Nobody answered. The next few weeks were chaos. My wife moved out, stayed with her sister, said she needed time to process. I didn't blame her. I needed time too. I called a lawyer, Patricia Chen, 18 years specializing in family law. She'd seen cases like this before, though she admitted mine was unusually complicated. You have no legal obligation to this child, she explained. Sperm donor agreements typically protect donors from parental responsibilities. The clinic should never have released your information. But she's mine, biologically. Biology doesn't create legal parenthood in cases like this. You signed away your rights when you donated. Can I sue the clinic for releasing my information? Potentially, but that's a separate matter. Right now, we need to focus on what you actually want. What I actually wanted. I hadn't thought about that yet. I'd been too busy reacting, processing, trying to keep my marriage from imploding. I don't know what I want. That's understandable, but you need to figure it out. Because Marcus and Sarah are going to lawyer up too. They're going to try to define the relationship on their terms. Marcus quit his job. HR called me the Monday after the barbecue, asked if I wanted to file a complaint. I said yes. What Marcus had done, accessing confidential medical records, applying for a job under false pretenses, essentially stalking me for 2 years, was deeply disturbing. The company launched an investigation. Detective Sarah Okonkwo, 14 years with the department, handled the criminal side. The clinic breach is serious, she explained during our interview. HIPAA violations, unauthorized access to medical records. Sarah's sister could face federal charges. And Marcus? Stalking is harder to prove when there's no threat of violence, but the pattern of behavior is concerning. We're documenting everything. I met with a therapist, Dr. Rebecca Martinez, 15 years specializing in family trauma. You're dealing with multiple layers of shock, she said during our first session. The revelation of a biological child, the betrayal by someone you trusted, the strain on your marriage. It's a lot to process at once. I don't know how to feel about Lily. What do you feel? Confused. I look at her and I see myself, but I also see a stranger, a child who already has parents, a child who doesn't need me. Does she need you? I don't know. Rachel filed for divorce 2 months after the barbecue. We met with our lawyers. Her attorney, a woman named Jennifer Walsh, sat across from Patricia Chen while Rachel and I avoided eye contact. My client feels that the failure to disclose the sperm donation constitutes a fundamental breach of trust, Jennifer said. It happened before they even met, Patricia countered. There was no legal obligation to disclose. Legal obligation and marital trust are two different things. Rachel finally looked at me. You should have told me. I barely remembered it myself. It was one afternoon 10 years ago. And now there's a child with your DNA, a child who calls you daddy. I didn't ask for this. Neither did I. The divorce was finalized 4 months later. Rachel got the house. I got my retirement accounts. We split everything else. She was moving to Portland, starting over. I stayed. The clinic investigation concluded with 3 terminations. Sarah's sister lost her job, faced federal charges for HIPAA violations, pleaded guilty to unauthorized access of medical records, got 18 months probation and a lifetime ban from working in healthcare. The clinic paid me a settlement, $50,000, enough to cover my legal fees and start a therapy fund for whatever came next. Marcus and Sarah reached out through their lawyer. They wanted to formalize a relationship, wanted Lily to know who I was. They're proposing supervised visitation, Patricia explained. Every other Saturday, Lily would spend a few hours with you, with Marcus or Sarah present. Why would they want that? After everything that happened? Because Lily keeps asking about you. She doesn't understand why the man she thinks of as her father disappeared. I met with Marcus once more, not at the company, not at a barbecue, at a neutral location, a coffee shop. Patricia sitting beside me, Marcus's lawyer beside him. I know you're angry, Marcus said. You have every right to be. Angry doesn't cover it. I should have been honest from the beginning. I should have contacted you through proper channels. Instead, you stalked me. You manipulated your way into my life. You treated my existence like something you were entitled to. I just wanted Lily to have a father. She has a father. That's what you signed up for when you used donor sperm. But I'm a stranger whose life you destroyed because you couldn't accept the terms of your own choices. I didn't agree to the visitation. Not at first. I was too angry, too hurt, too overwhelmed by the chaos Marcus had created. But then, Lily wrote me a letter. It arrived in a pink envelope, crayon drawings on the front. Inside, in shaky 4-year-old handwriting, with obvious help from an adult. Dear Daddy, why did you go away? Are you mad at me? I miss you. Love, Lily. I stared at that letter for an hour. This little girl didn't understand what had happened, didn't understand that her parents had lied, that they'd invaded my privacy, that they'd destroyed my marriage. All she knew was that someone she loved had disappeared. I called Patricia. I want to try the visitation. Are you sure? No, but I can't punish a 4-year-old for what her parents did. The first Saturday was awkward. Marcus sat in the corner of the community center watching, while Sarah kept her distance across the room. room. Lily ran toward me the moment I walked in. Daddy, you came back! I knelt down to her level. I didn't go anywhere, Lily. I just needed some time. Are you still sad? A little? That's okay. Mommy says it takes time to feel better. We played with blocks, drew pictures, read a book about a hungry caterpillar. She talked constantly about preschool, about her favorite foods, about the dog she wanted but wasn't allowed to have. Normal kid stuff. I watched her and saw myself at that age. The same energy, the same stubbornness, the same way her brow furrowed when she was concentrating. She was mine, and for the first time, I didn't feel sick about it. I felt something else, something like hope. That was 6 months ago. My wife, ex-wife, is settled in Portland. We don't talk much, but we're civil. Marcus quit his job, moved to a different company across town. We see each other at handoffs, exchange the minimum required words, move on. Sarah and I have developed something like a truce. She was never the mastermind, just a woman who wanted a family and made terrible choices to get one. Every Saturday, Lily comes to my apartment. We bake cookies, watch cartoons, go to the park. She calls me Daddy. I didn't ask for this, didn't plan for it, didn't want my life upended by a donation I made 10 years ago when I was too broke to buy textbooks. But Lily is here, real, mine, asking for my time, my attention, my love. I can't give her back the 4 years I missed, but I can give her the rest of them. Marcus thought he was giving his daughter a gift. What he actually gave her was a fractured family and a complicated future. But maybe, somehow, something good can come from the wreckage. Last Saturday, Lily drew me a picture. 2 stick figures holding hands, one big, one small. That's you and me, she said proudly. Who am I? She looked at me like I'd asked the dumbest question in the world. You're my daddy. I put the picture on my refrigerator. It's still there. Some stories don't have villains, just people making choices. Some of those choices are terrible. Some of them create children who call strangers daddy at barbecues. I didn't choose this, but I'm choosing what comes next, every Saturday. For as long as she wants me, she calls me daddy, and I'm learning what that means.